Stick on the good news side of the equation, which included Greg yesterday retaining the yellow jersey here at the Tour de France, carrying on this year's tradition of the Tour de France. So we're excited about that. Nothing easy about what happened yesterday, as we all know, but Greg was certainly in the forefront of the competition, and finishing second was a great performance by him and the team. So we're happy about that. But we're mainly here to talk about the future of Continuum Sports. Continuum Sports is the owner and operator of our World Tour license that we hold, and the future of that license has now been secured by the ability for us to be able to find a new sponsor. And we're here to announce that new sponsor. Our new sponsor is CCC. It is a Polish manufacturer of shoes and handbags, and they've agreed to be a partner with us for the future. And that future starts on January 1, 2019. We're excited to be having them join us at Continuum Sports. You know, the fact that we hold a World Tour license is a significant, has significant value because, as you all know, there's 18 World Tour teams in the World Tour, and they compete on a calendar that starts in January and ends in October. And retaining those licenses and holding those licenses requires performance and other factors in order to maintain your credibility and your ability to be able to meet the quotas and the expectations of the UCI. So we've been able to do that for the last 8 years, and we think we'll continue to do that in the future. We've got a lot of new opportunities with a new sponsor, in that we'll be creating a new image. We're going to look different. We're going to feel different. We're going to act different, and we're going to have some new players in the roster. So for us, it's an exciting opportunity to start a new venture that I think will be one that will continue to demonstrate the leadership and the image of our organization as we have over the last 12 years. And we believe that will continue, and that will be our goal, to keep this organization running smooth and allowing us to grow along the way. You know that there's been a lot of talk in the media for some time about whether or not this was going to happen or not, how many people believed we might get this done or not, how many rumors were generated over the last 6 months about this or that, or this sponsor in, this sponsor out. But what we do have today is factual information, and I've always told you that when it's factual, I will announce it, and not before that. And so the facts are that CCC will be our new sponsor starting in 2019. They haven't decided yet what the name will be. Is it CCC Racing Team, CCC Professional Cycling Team, CCC whatever? So it's a little fast. This happened quickly, and those kind of details will follow. We hope to continue our successes as we have over the last 12 years and carry those into the 19 season. We'll have new goals, new objectives, and again, a new look. We're also here to announce that Greg Van Avermaet has extended his contract with Continuum Sports, and he will be our leader in the team, and he will lead the team in the classics, and we'll build a team around Greg for that very function. And the classic season, you know, the classics start in February, but they really end in October in Lombardia. So we'll pick and choose what that means along the way, but we'll build a team around Greg. We'll look also to be competitive in the one-day World Tour races, which we've done thus far with our team pretty successfully, I think, over the years, just having won the Tour de Suisse a month ago. So it's a space that we can do well in. And we'll also probably, at this point in time, not exactly looking to a big grand tour rider into the organization. We might bypass that for the short term and look to build that into the longer term. But at the moment, it's the classics with Greg, it's the one-day stage races, and we'll focus on those two areas. We'll do the world tours, the grand tours, the 3 grand tours, because it's mandatory for us to participate. But we just may do it in a little different fashion. So we don't know what that is yet. It's a little bit early to commit to that. So with that, thank you very much for being here, and I guess you're up.
Thank you. Greg, I think you're sick of hearing the question, what will your future hold? We're here today, we've announced that you'll be staying with Continuum Sports. How happy are you to announce that, and especially today being the leader of the Tour de France?
Yeah, for me it's a big relief. I was hoping kind of on this day already a little bit earlier, but I think the waiting was worth it, I think, and we keep this team running. A lot of people can stay, a lot of jobs are safe, was for me a really important thing. Also, this project goes further, which I've been part of already many years, had some big successes already before, and yeah, like we're still in a big success for the moment, so let's keep this ball rolling, and I hope we can do well together, me and Jim. Try to build a good team around me. I'm getting a little bit older, but especially not old yet, so I still have a lot of ambition to go for big races and big wins in my career, and I'm capable to do this. So I'm really happy to announce that we are working together again, and yeah, let's bring the next races on.
Thank you. Now I'll open the floor for questions.
Is this kind of just a sponsorship deal, or is this a fusion between 2 teams?
It's not a fusion between 2 teams, it's a partnership. And Continuum Sports will hold the license with the UCI, and we will be the management of the operation.
And will you send some Polish riders or some Polish personnel?
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. They have very qualified people. We had a visit down to visit their facility, met some of their people. And if you look on their roster, they have several really qualified athletes that will be incorporating into the organization as in due time. But yes, there will be some people from their organization coming in here and working with us.
Jim, what bikes will you next year?
Our current sponsor sponsorship is ending with BMC at the end of 2018, and at this moment we do not have a bike sponsor for 2019. Tag Heuer retains their commitment with us via an existing contract for 2019, and we're discussing these options with our other partners as we speak.
Can you tell us something more about the roster of other riders that's going to stay next to you?
Only from within our own roster, because it's not permitted for us to discuss or by UCI rules until August 1. But currently Mickey Shire is staying as Greg's lieutenant, and as a commitment, and Nathan Van Hooydonk. And the others are still in the discussion modes, and I've met with managers in the last couple of days about that. But nothing's committed yet and signed, but the discussions are there with a number of our existing players, and also with some other players that we are discussing about bringing into the organization.
When did you start talking with CCC?
2 weeks ago.
And how long will you be?
We don't give details about terms and of duration.
I can ask.
Yep, yep.
Any numbers on the budget?
And that isn't shared either, sorry.
Do you know anything about the team jersey? I mean, they're riding bright orange now. Is that still the same?
Orange will be our predominant color, and they're working on artwork as we speak, because There may be some additions and changes, depends on other partners that might come in. So it's a little bit early, but yes, they have a jersey you can look at, but I don't think it'll be exactly like that, only because we'll probably have some other partners that'll be added to the jersey that may change the colors a little bit, but certainly orange is going to be the predominant color. That's their corporate color.
Can you tell something on the sports directors that may stay or will stay?
We're not talking about personnel per se, but for the most part, we're probably retaining about 3/4 of our existing staff and incorporating in, again, probably a quarter of theirs. We're taking in about a quarter of their staff.
Anne?
Our relationships are, this is a multi-year deal for everyone that comes in, yes, in and with CCC. It's more than 1 year.
Dan?
I'm-
Tim, you said it's only started talking to them 2 weeks ago, but when was the actual contract signed, and how close were you to admitting defeat in terms of buying the sponsor?
I was never admitting defeat to anything, and you know that because we've had discussions, and sometimes some rather heated ones about this subject. But I was never prepared to stop trying. And our discussions with Mr. Milik started actually I met him last weekend.
So when was it actually agreed?
Pardon me?
When was it actually agreed and signed?
It was signed on Saturday night.
2 days ago.
What's today, Monday? Yeah,
Yeah.
Saturday night.
In the Tour of France.
Yes.
Greg, when did you sign?
Good question.
He might, yeah.
I think Mr. Milik came for a Polish team on the Tour de France. What will be the nationality of the team? You stay.
Currently, our continuing sports license is a U.S. team, and that's the license we hold today. That'll stay in place till the end of this year. We have to make a reapplication for 2019. I'm not sure what they want to call it. If it's an extension. It's not. We're not applying as a new team. We're just extending an existing license. I think that's the way they're going to do it for all 18 teams for 19. And the nationality still is undecided. And as you know from other teams, it's not really a moot point, because there's a lot of teams that are, you'd think there's something, but they're not. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for that yet.
Greg, it seems like there's a lot of space to fill in the roster. You being the new leader, what would you like? What wishes do you have? What kind of team do you see around you from the start of the season?
Well, especially a good overall team, I think. Okay, we're gonna focus on classics. That's our main goal. With me as a leader, but there are a lot of other races to do. First, the classic squad has to be strong. But we start in Down Under and we end up in Lombardia probably, or China. So it's a big roster to fill in. And I think we have to be competitive everywhere. Maybe not the same as we do this year. Like, we're not maybe gonna be up there in the best 3 World Tour teams. But for sure, we still have the goal to where we start. We wanted to be there, make results, and on a different roster, like we say, we don't gonna have maybe a big GC guy like we have now in the Tour, but we went quite well also without this. So I think it's possible to make good results also with the roster and a team like this.
How many riders do you want for yourself?
I think it has to be, we have to work together, It's not like I have to say to Jim this and this. Everybody has his opinion. You have to discuss it, and then you make decisions. I'm not the kind of guy who say this and this has to happen. I think there has to be an open discussion, and then you make the best result out of it. But for sure, we need a few extra players for classics, and then I'm fine with it. The most important thing is that I perform. And I'm gonna be there, and I have to take care of myself. So I think this is for sure gonna work.
How difficult was
your future for yourself? It's not so easy, I think.
No, it was not easy because I wanted to decide earlier. After classics, I want to have my future in my mind, but the circumstances were different like that I hoped. But on this day, I am happy I was waiting, and that's the most important thing. I think sometimes you have to be loyal. You have to wait to the right moment. Sometimes you want to sign earlier because you just want to get rid of all these things in your head. But I think I'm 33 and I was also more relaxed, you know, when I was maybe 22. I could never wait for this moment, but now I was pretty sure about myself and about Oach, and then finally something came out, and I'm really happy that I'm sitting here and I signed the contract with this organization.
Good. Dan and Engie.
Just a question for you, Greg. Can you say when you did sign your contract?
What the joke is this? You asked this question already 2 times.
No, I didn't hear when you signed it.
Is it really that important when I sign?
Well,
When
you
you-
said it's a good question, isn't it? So I just wanted to follow up to see, just to get confirmation.
When did you sign your contract with your company?
2008.
And you're still working for them?
Yeah.
Chapeau.
And then, right, and then the second question is for Jim. How much of a distraction was it with the situation with Mark Beaver in terms of he was trying to set up a team and did work for BMC for a large point in time?
I really don't know what Mark Beaver was doing once he left he was a contractor for us, but he left at the end in June, and I guess he was working, I've heard he was working on a project, but I have no idea.
Keith?
And nothing to do with us.
As it had to go very fast, is it too unexpected to call this the an emergency exit? Or is it
A what?
more than- Is it an emergency exit for BMC, or is it more than that?
Well, it's not an exit for BMC. Our relationship will end at the end of 2018, but I'm sure they have plans of their own to continue in the sport of cycling. And for us, this came a little bit late, so there were crisis moments, you know, of course, because there was riders that wanted to leave. Richie left early, and some others did. But we knew and we were confident that we would prevail and still have a solid roster in order for us to be competitive at the World Tour level. And I'm confident over the next couple of months we'll be announcing athletes that will come to this organization that will confirm that statement.
We'll do Gregor, Peter, and Quentin, and then one more after that.
Jim, I mean, Greg talked a little bit about the thoughts in his mind, what he was going through this contract time. How was it for you these months, trying to sort out that contract, keep cool, and also focus on the tour and the team together?
Look, our number one goal was this Tour de France in terms of competition. So we worked out a system so that the sport directors could focus solely, and the riders that were doing this, solely on this race. And the distractions only came from rumor mills that in some cases were very untrue and caused us actually great harm in terms of our efforts to find a sponsor, because you have to deny or just pretend like those that aren't true go away and they don't cause too much damage. And that was the toughest part. That was the toughest part. I mean, going along and trying to raise money. I've been a fundraiser since I was 25 years old. So that's what I do. And you know how many doors I've had slammed in my face over those years and told me, no, you can't do anything. But you do finally get the yes answer. And that's why, you continue on, stay focused, continue on. But I took that responsibility on, and I let the staff of this team here at the Tour de France focus on the Tour de France.
You were in Poland.
What? Yeah, and I'm Polish, and it was the first trip to Poland I ever had.
Right before the tour, huh?
No, it wasn't just before the tour, but it was recent times.
Peter?
I just wondered, Jim, what influence having the yellow jersey might have had on the deal? Did that help kind of seal it in the end?
It certainly doesn't hurt because you're getting global publicity and advertising, and everybody in the world knows who's wearing the yellow jersey. And but this actually triggered before that. the initiation started before that. So you can't say that that was the reason. But afterwards, you know, when someone becomes a friend of yours or you're working on a business transaction together, and what the business that we're doing is bike racing, and we're leading the Tour de France, that's a pretty high standard for them to consider in their decision making.
Helped you get it over the line, kind of thing.
I can't answer. You really have to ask that Mr. Milik that question, because I can't read his mind. I don't know what was the driving force behind it. For sure, and he's made this known, that he wanted to be in the World Tour at some point, and it was his goal to get there, and this was an opportunity to get there.
Quentin, do you have a question?
What was the most important request in the negotiation for you? Was it a question of roster, of material, of staff, or something else?
No, just to keep this team going, I think. Yeah, that was the most important for me. 8 years of this project. When Andy was still there, I feel part of it. And that's also why I stayed 2 years ago. You know, I wanted to win this big classic for BMC. And I did this, and now I just want to keep on continuing on this team, because I feel good at this organization, and yeah, I don't have any feelings for changing.
Last one?
Jim, the fact that you guys are focused more on classics and one-day races, is it
1 week races.
on 1 week races? Is it more because you're working with in the future with smaller budget, or because the big GC guys had already signed with other teams?
It's more that I don't see, with Richie leaving, another GC contender that's in the marketplace. And with this new project, we don't want to take too much on at one time. And as in the past, we'd rather build towards that. And I think we'll be readjusting those decisions at the end or during the 2019 season.